Hey everybody, I'm Jason Baus at OutdoorProductReview.com, and today we are reviewing the Hoyt Defiant. So we're kicking off the 2016 bow review with the new bow from Hoyt. This is the Defiant. But first thing, I want to thank our sponsors. So first off, as always, we have Sitka Gear. Sitka Gear is the best hunting clothing that you can have by, hands down. QAD Ultra Rest, that's the one we're using. You guys saw our interview at the ATA show with those folks. One of the best drop-aways, or if not the best drop-away rest on the market. We also have Victory Archery is going to be our arrow this year. We're shooting a 440 grain VAP, that Victory Armor piercing arrow. One other sponsor that's new this year is we're going to have Chair Pack. A Chair Pack's that backpack that turns into a chair. One of the best things, I use it for fishing all the time, and they're really good for turkey hunting as well, or any kind of hunting if you're up for it. Now, one thing I want to tell you, this year our bows are set at 30 inches of draw. Now, I listen to a lot of you guys on the comments on YouTube or on my website and Facebook, and the big thing is people are saying, we'd like to see a 30-inch draw. So that's what we're doing. My draw length's anywhere between 29 to 30 inches depending on the bow model. So we're going to give it a go and get that true IBO. The bows are set at 70 pounds, 30 inches. So I think there's maybe one bow that we received so far this year that is set at 29, and it's actually a cam module. So unless I can get that module from them, we're going to be shooting that one at 29. Nonetheless, we'll be doing all the bows again this year. So it's a really cool time of year. I love this. It's just the beginning of April right now, and it's absolutely gorgeous outside. Okay, so a little bit about this. We got the Hoyt Defiant 30. Now they have numerous different ones. They have a carbon model, 34, and that all, it's basically the difference is the ATA. So on this one, the Defiant 30, the ATA is actually 30.5. So it's a nice short bow, which is great for backpacking, especially up in the high country when you're chasing elk. It's got a 7-inch brace height, so it's nice and really forgiving. That's one thing I like about the bows with a long brace height like that, is that they're really easy to shoot, and you have a lot of time to correct your pose before the arrow actually gets there, even though it's just a millisecond. All right, the IBO on this is 331 feet per second. It weighs 4 pounds. So, that's that magic number that we look for in the archery industry, 4 pounds. You can get this bow all the way from 24 inches in draw length to 30 inches. So it will fit just about anybody's draw length on the that's out there. Another thing too is this bow comes all the way down in 30 pounds to 80 pounds. So if you have a son or a daughter or a wife or somebody that likes to shoot, wants to get a bow that's going to be a good bow and not just these sort of bows that you use for a few months and then they break, or they're not really trustworthy, you can get this all the way down to 30 pounds, and like I said, draw lengths in 24 inches. So that's something that's really nice with this. The bow they sent me this year comes in the Realtree Extra. It's the Western pattern, which I really like this pattern just because it's got that sagebrush look in it. It's great. Like Colorado, there are tons of places where it's nothing but sagebrush, and it's a good camo pattern. All right, one thing is I want to tell you about this. They have this Tech Light offset riser here, and it's just really cool. It's got like numerous cutouts through it, so you got a lot of strength in it, but you reduce the overall weight of the bow. It's something that's really cool. I like the bottom of this cage. It's almost got a spot where you could, put something. I mean, you're not going to put anything in there, but it's definitely nice and light, cut through, but yet still has the strength of a straight riser. They're cable guards, the Zero Torque cable guard. It's like a cable roller. And I started a few years ago talking about companies going to a roller type cable system because it's going to reduce all that torque off of the cams from the cables. And theirs is Zero Torque, so it's got like a little arm inside of the main cable guard, and it moves with the cables and also rolls. So that's something that is just really nice because torque is one of the biggest killers of people not being able to get their bows properly tuned and being able to shoot them correctly. And that's reducing any torque off the cable, so you're not going to get that cam lean or anything that you're going to have with that. Now, one thing they have is this silent shelf technology. It's basically like some sound absorbing rubber that covers the shelf. The only thing with this, I like that a lot because it's definitely when the rest hits, it's going to quiet it. But with this QAD rest set at 0 center of the riser, there's just barely enough room for it to hit. It's actually up on one side and then it touches on the other side. So they have a deep V in their shelf system here, which causes a part of the rest to sit on one side. That would be the only thing I see with that. However, I was able to get this thing perfectly paper tuned and with no issues, even with the portion there of my rest hitting it. But like some of the bows you saw last year when we were shooting it, you heard a little bit of a noise from the rest slapping the shelf. You're not going to have that with this because it's silent. All right, another thing they have is their Pro-Lock pocket system here. Now their Pro-Lock pocket system, I mean, there's no pocket for the limbs really if you look at it. It's actually its own independent thing that's on the end of the riser, and then the limbs fit in there perfectly. It's one continuous piece across the top where the limbs sit on a almost like a pivoting area. And also too is they have sound vibration dampening rubber in there, so your limbs, it'll take some of that vibration out of the limbs when it hits. They have the limb dampeners inside the split limb of the bow. And it's the same on both sides. They got their multi-layer laminated Ultra Flex limbs in there, so you're gonna get a lot of speed off of that. You see it's beyond parallel, it definitely comes over the top. They have the DFX cam and a half in there. That cam and a half really makes for a nice smooth draw. As we've known here, you know, in the last, 6 years, a lot of the cam and a halves have really come to where they're just super smooth. It's like drawing a single cam bow. So overall, there's pretty much the gist of the bow. You know, 4 pounds, it's right at that 4. It sits well in your hand. Their grip is nice and sort of fat at the bottom, real skinny at the neck, something I like. So I like having a little meaty grip to hold the bow with. You know, but yet your hand fits in there perfect. It's just like, of course it's made for hunting, made for shooting. So why don't we go ahead, we're gonna do a draw test with that 440 grain VAP. We're gonna feel how it feels, draw back. Remember, we're shooting at 30 inches, so we'll put it back, see how the creep in the valley is, and we'll go ahead and shoot this bow, then put it through the chronograph. I'll give you my final thoughts on it, but from what I'm thinking, I don't think I'm gonna be disappointed at all. It's definitely a nice looking bow. The cutout riser's just really, really cool. This end part here, I like that. It's got that futuristic look to it. Okay, so I got that VAP on there. Nice looking, plenty of clearance room. That VAP's that nano shaft, so it's really small. We don't have any kind of Luminoc on it this year, but I'm hoping to get some because I'll be out in Texas in about 3 weeks hunting big old boars, and we're gonna get a lot of video of that, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So why don't we go ahead and draw this bow. Wow, that's super, super smooth. Okay, I'm gonna do a little tilt test. I'm moving my hand as you see, and the bow's really not moving off center at all. Let's go ahead and creep forward. You don't have much creep, but it's not ripping your shoulder out. I mean, it's easily holdable. So we're set at 30 inches right here, and that's absolutely, it feels just perfect. Yeah, I got just a little bit of play, but you can hold it back. Now I'm gonna touch my 2 fingers together. We're gonna shoot this. Wow, see, that bow didn't even move. It stayed right where it was. My 2 fingers, I mean, it doesn't go forward, doesn't go back. It's like perfectly balanced, even without stabilizer on it. Quiet, I mean, super, super quiet. The arrow flew down there beautiful. Yeah, that was like silent. All right, let's shoot this bow through the chronograph, and we're gonna get our speed on it. We're shooting that Hoyt Defiant, 30 inches on the draw length, 70 pounds, 440 grain arrow. Shooting that VAP. All right, here we go. 295 feet per second. Nice. All right, so there you saw it, 295 feet per second. You know, this is a 330 feet per second IBO bow. We're shooting 30 inches. That's a heavy arrow, 440 grains. I'm using a heavy arrow like that because when I'm going out to chase elk, big hogs, you know, my buddy's killing 350 to 375 pound boars down there in Texas. That's still really fast. I mean, it was 295.8, so we're gonna go 296. Definitely smooth shooting. This bow is dead in your hands. I mean, it doesn't move at all. Super quiet. I couldn't even hear it. Hoyt has definitely made some of the best bows that I've ever shot. I really like the sound of this bow. Super quiet. You can get the turbo mode, you get a little bit more speed out of it, but you're gonna have a little stiffer draw, probably shorter brace height. But I'll tell you, the bow's dead in your hands. It is silent. There are no issues with it whatsoever. Really a great shooting bow all the way around. And I'll tell you, they get a thumbs up. I'm glad that Hoyt's back in the game because I really like being able to review their products. Great shooting bow. I'd like to thank all sponsors. And I'll tell you what, you guys go check it out. Check out their website. Look at all the different models of the Defiant that they have out there. They got that carbon one. And you know, I've always wanted to shoot the carbon spider. But maybe one of these days we'll get something along the lines, maybe next year do a carbon bow from them. So I'll tell you, for Hoyt and Outdoor Product Review, I'm Jason Ballas. You guys go check them out. We'll see you on our next bow review.